Hey, welcome to the Moto Academy Members Podcast episode 4, where we dive deeper into the world of motocross and the life of the Moto Academy community. This time I'm hosting this podcast. My name is Christiaan, and in this episode I have a fascinating discussion with MarkTwoFour. As in the previous episode, this episode is again cut up in parts of about half an hour. Whether you're a TMA member or just curious about motocross, this podcast could be for you. Sit back, relax, and join us on the journey as we learn more about the life of each of the members. If you like the podcast, please give the thumbs up. Let's get started. This is part 4 of episode 4.
Let's go.
Okay, welcome, Mark.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Okay, going a little bit to the next question. Is there any class planned for you?
So
AJ is coming?
he's coming down to obviously Landrake in May.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm booked in for that one.
Okay, so you're going to go there.
Yeah. So but the Moto 101 days the week after, they're quite away from me.
Yeah. It's a long drive for you, Moto 101?
Yeah, it would probably be about 3.5 hours.
Yeah,
a bit
that's
more
a long
maybe.
Drive.
And then because it's during the week, I try and get time off work and things like that. So it's
that's
a
also
bit
because it's 2 days, I think, in 101. Huh?
Yeah, definitely. And then with Landrake, I'm actually racing at the track the day before.
Oh, the day before.
So we're racing there on the Sunday, and then he's got his training day there on the Monday.
On the Monday, okay.
Yeah.
And the track is open on the Monday?
It would be the track doesn't open as a practice track.
No, exactly.
I think it's technically like a private hire.
Okay, in that way.
But
they're allowed to open on the Monday. That's more my point.
I think so. Yeah, I think they get most tracks they can open so many days throughout the year.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think as long as he like the locals know what's going on,
mm-hmm.
I think he generally it's pretty good. So so we're down there on the Monday.
Okay, and now I go to a slippery slide. So did you ever follow a class with a local coach?
I have done classes with other coaches. So there's a rider in the UK, and I don't know whether you know a guy called Dave Thorpe.
Okay.
So he's a 5-time world motocross champion.
Yeah, it sounds familiar, but yeah.
Yeah, so he's ridden all over the world with he was in part of like the HRC Dream Team with like Eric Cabors, and Andre Malherbe, that crew.
Yeah.
So he has his own like off-road center.
Oh yeah.
Where they do motocross and enduro.
Yeah.
I've done a few training days with him.
Okay. Was that interesting?
So he teaches. His classes are a little bit slightly different format because a lot of his riders are kind of like sort of newer starters, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But you do get the odd few like myself that have been riding for a while.
Yeah.
But he teaches a lot of the stuff AJ does. Feet on the pegs, keeping your feet up, moving with your hips, like looking ahead. So it's all the same sort of stuff.
Okay.
But I've done a few classes with him, which is it's been really useful.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, I just asked that because a local trainer is of course closer, simple as that. And AJ, it's not available to us so often, huh? And in itself, I also take classes with a local trainer, and there's a big sticker of the Moto Academy, of course, on my motorcycle.
Yeah.
And that person also knows that, of course. So he says, "Oh, you're a member of that." And and the thing is that they also get the feeling if they explain, is he taking my explanation seriously?
Yeah.
Because he's sort of making that up in his mind. Is he taking what I say seriously, or is he going to do what AJ is saying, stuff like that? So that's also okay.
It would be I'd love to do more of like obviously AJ's days, but obviously where most of it is obviously based in America.
Yeah,
it's different. So like any time he comes to the UK, then I'm super keen to do those classes, and I'd love to kind of, if I get the opportunity, maybe is to try and fly out to America at some point and do a couple of his classes out there, just to get that experience of, doing it over there rather than the UK.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I think I do not know, but I've ridden, of course, during my trip in Tomahawk. Now, it was very fun to go there because we saw so many movies that AJ made there. So in that respect, it was a very special moment. But if I would say, would I travel to the United States to ride that track? I would say no.
Yeah. Okay.
If you would say the money that it takes to go there and then ride that track, I think there are more adventurous tracks to ride.
Yeah.
But I'm not aware of where they are. But last time there was somebody also asking about, hey, I want to indeed plan a moto trip to US, and I'm flying from here, and where should I go? That there are a number of tracks around that I could rent a bike and then drive.
Yeah.
And I think the conclusion was the West Coast somewhere.
Okay. Yeah.
West Coast, East Coast. Sorry.
Yeah.
The other way.
The East Coast is where AJ is now. I think he's on the East Coast.
Exactly. Because and then also very close to the coast, they mentioned, because there were quite a number of tracks just pretty close to each other.
Right. Okay.
I think it was in a podcast. I think, okay, that would be nice that you can go to some different tracks. Because if you make the whole flight there and then only drive at one track, that's
yeah, you kind of you want to make the most of it, I guess, and try and see if you go to maybe even like one of the national tracks, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know if they open for practice or not, but
that is then all the things that you have to figure out indeed.
Yeah.
Okay, now I think we mentioned it already a little bit, but how do we know each other?
Through the app, of course.
Through the app, indeed.
Yeah.
What do we have in common next to the app?
Yeah, I think I think we are kind of getting the same thing out of it. We won a trip as well.
Yeah, we're both trip winners as well, huh?
Yeah. So
I think that was the first contact that I had with you, right?
Yeah, because I think I won mine through the 12 Days of Christmas.
Yeah.
In end of 23, I think I bought mine. 2023, I got mine.
Yeah, because I messaged you directly that, hey, congratulations, blah blah blah. Maybe
you said
several people do that.
Yeah, crikey, I remember that.
Yeah. I was opening up this thing and I said, I have to go to MarkTwoFour. Here's all the story of the trip win.
Yeah, it's
that's the funny thing. It stays in your phone.
That was good. Yeah, because mine was he was supposed to come to my hometown.
Yeah, exactly. But I think was the idea.
Logistically wise, I don't think he appreciated how far I was, or because he knew he had a class at 101.
Yeah. And
I think where he would fly into like London, I don't think he appreciated how far away from London I am.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, he arranged for me to go to the Flackwell Heath, I think it was.
Okay.
So he arranged for me to come up to that. So that was it was just as good. And we had like the one-to-one training, and we went out for food with them on the evening, and that was really cool. So yeah, it was amazing. But
you ended up having rain in the afternoon, huh? That's what you wrote.
Yeah, we were so unlucky with the weather. Like the day before, it rained so heavy.
Yeah.
And when we spoke to AJ in the morning, he was kind of like, it was touch and go whether we go.
Exactly.
The track owner did some great work to get it rideable. Mm-hmm. It was beautiful of sunny in the morning. And then I think we rode for about an hour and a half, if that, and it just absolutely hammered down with rain.
Yeah, that is what you can have in the UK. Yeah, that's also over
here. Yeah,
you can just bam, drop,
and then where the track was, you could see it coming. You could just see the black cloud coming closer and closer.
Go away, go away.
Yeah, AJ tried his best to do it, but the weather just, we all got together and were like, look, this is just, the track wasn't rideable in the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, still, like I say, an amazing experience. Like just to chat with him and meetings, particularly with them guys like Ali and little Millie as well. That was
nice.
Super cool.
Yeah, the day before I had dinner with him as well.
I saw the picture.
With my moto.
Yeah, I did see the picture in the pub. Yeah, it looked
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah, it was
it
really
looked
cool.
like a pub, the photo indeed, but it
Yeah.
was a restaurant where we were.
Okay.
It was the entrance, and it really looked like a pub. That is correct.
Yeah, it looked really nice, definitely.
Yeah.
But
Last question, but that is mostly, I would say, for the people who are not in the Moto Academy. So yeah, why should they join the TMA? And especially, and I think that is important also, since we're in Europe. So why should a person in Europe join this? I think in United States, I think there are much more reasons to do that, and
yeah,
also because I talked to the real GP, he says, yeah, it's a very good point to just find people in my neighborhood and then go ride with them,
yeah,
because we're riding under the same flag or something. It gives a little
yeah,
bit of community feeling, huh?
yeah.
And but yeah, for us, to be honest, in the Netherlands, I think I have 3 guys that are also in the
Okay.
app, and I think in the UK there are more. So are there people in your neighborhood that are also part in the app?
So I know a couple of my friends that have joined up to it.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
You
and
convince them?
yeah, I've kind of said to them, they've asked me about it and what to
Yeah.
do, and I was like, look, when I've said to them like I've had dinner with AJ, he's messaged me, he sent me videos. They're a bit like, yeah, really.
Oh,
But then when you
didn't
show,
believe it.
they don't believe it. And
Oh,
then when I show them
yeah.
and I post the videos like on my social media, it's like I think I think not long after we had met each other, I think AJ on a podcast was talking about like my daughter Liv. Like 3 weeks later, he
Your
like
head is in
remembers her
the.
name, and he was like, "Oh, Liv was so cool." And I was like, I showed him these videos, and they're like, "Oh, so it does actually work. They do respond to you and stuff." I was like, "Yeah, they do." Like, it might take them a day or two because they've got so many people sending the messages, but
Exactly.
um,
Oh,
uh, but yeah, it'd be cool. And I think my moto's got like a ride day. He's doing like a
yeah.
ride day in like
Yeah.
June time. I want to say June or July.
Yeah. I think it is June 2 or
So
something. Yeah.
so it'd be nice for like where we all can't like go to America and ride with those. It's nice that everywhere in your area you can kind of find out who are members, and you can like have meetups and go to tracks together and and learn with each other,
Yeah.
learn stuff that you've learned from the app, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think also that is a little bit. That was the real GP explaining to me that he says, "Oh, I was with. I cannot remember his name. Another famous name that I've seen already a long time in the app." And he says, "Oh, that was so cool. Everybody should have a person like that, because both they looked at the video, so to say, and then they went to the track and
Yeah,
start talking about and looking at each other. Oh yeah, but you're doing this. You have to do better. And oh, but here, yeah, this looks cool. And oh no, this doesn't work. So they can really dial in on what they
yeah,
both have seen in the video and look at each other doing it.
yeah,
So you can grow each other. And I was thinking,
yeah.
yeah, oh, that would be really nice, because that's really plus plus. But over here for us, yeah,
It's slightly more difficult. Yeah,
yeah, I've never met the guy who's relatively very close to me. That I said, and he even saw me at the track. He told me, because I showed a photo of my car. Did you not see me? I was standing up front. Oh yeah, I did see your car. Oh, I didn't realize it was you. Yeah, okay.
right. Okay.
But there are 60 other people, and yeah, I'm that person there. I said,
Yeah,
yeah, next time, come and say hello, because yeah, I mean,
yeah.
we'll
I
never
think it's
meet
like
up.
when we went to Flackwell Heath, he kind of just said, "Oh, how many people are in the app?" And
Yeah,
quite a few people put their hands up. And I don't know whether I sort of wrongly thought there won't be that many people from like the UK in it, but I think actually it turns out there are people globally that are in it and do
yeah,
want to learn from this.
yeah, of course.
So
Clear. That's why we're in. That is.
yeah, and probably my main goal is, like a lot of people, you don't go to school and learn motocross. You learn it by riding. You learn it by watching videos. So you're
Exactly.
not ever really taught how to do it.
Mm-mm.
Whereas I say to people is I use the app to learn the basics.
Yeah. No, yeah,
To
the
learn
let's say the
head forward.
theory, but also I think what you say now is that you ask questions, so you also get feedback on
Yeah,
things that you're like, yeah, how do I go about this? And oh, this feels like this and this. So what do you think?
Yeah,
And that helps you in looking at your own progression. And
definitely.
for me, I think AJ has given quite some feedback saying, Christiaan, look at this, Christiaan, look at that. And yeah, okay,
Yeah,
it takes a long time before you can fix it. There's another story, but he
yeah,
also can
yeah,
see, he was giving me feedback also saying, oh, I really want to see how the progress is going this year for you. So
yeah.
yeah, and I think also for him, it is nice because I'm a trainer myself, and not in
Okay,
motocross,
yeah,
but it is just nice to see if your students are getting better. That is just,
yeah,
and he is a trainer. And he also
yeah,
says it that at some point in time I sort of understood that that is more my goal than doing the racing. And
yeah,
then it can only be that he feels like, oh, I want my students to be better. If I consider myself a student, but that
yeah,
would be anybody in the app, in fact, for him.
yeah. It's an accomplishment for him to see that people are learning from his advice and getting better and improving. So it's more of a,
Yeah, but
it's probably good for
reflect
him.
it on yourself. If you can explain something to your daughter when she's in a difficult situation and give her a good advice, and you really see, okay, yeah, it really helps her. You're also like, okay,
Yeah, yeah,
good.
definitely.
That I think it's the same feeling, or not?
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, I want to sort of wrap it up a little bit. Um, who is the next in the interview?
Who's the next one? Oh, I don't
Yeah,
know. There's so many people in the app, isn't there? You'd like
exactly.
to
But
see.
who is for you number one? That yeah, I want to know more about this guy,
I think I think Jackson would be quite interesting.
Jackson.
Yeah, you come a few of the kind of conversations I've had through the app. I want, is he like a little bit of the wild child sort of thing? Like just wants to be a little bit naughty every so often and do a little,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I think he'd be really good. And then,
But about then let's say because he's a Moto Academy member already, and I think he's exposed already a lot. He's also doing the live streams, although we do not see
yeah,
them over here. But
yeah.
um, just another guy that comes up in the list of the community part. A name.
Um, I'm trying to think of his one of the young lads.
Bah 328.
That's it. Yeah, yeah. I think he'd be really like. So I've listened to like some of the videos that he's posted when he's asking questions, and yeah, he's just like a little pocket rocket. He's just full of energy, and yeah, some of his videos have been really good. So I think
Yeah,
he'd be really interested.
yeah. The
Um,
only thing is he has to talk properly English because I cannot understand him.
yeah, he's got a really strong accent, hasn't he? Like,
It's
yeah,
really
it's
nice, but yeah, I cannot make anything out of it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think like probably another one would be like Driver Jamie. I think
Yeah.
he's
Okay. And
he's
for
I
you to
think he's
know,
come a lot.
I already contacted him,
Oh, okay, brilliant.
and he's willing, so that will happen.
Yeah, no, he's I've sent him quite a few questions really, and I felt sorry for him when I did this beach race last year, and I had some bike problems, and I was just bombarding him with messages like, "Oh my goodness, this has happened. What do I do?" And he was, and bless him, he was like messaging me back like, "Just try this, just do this, just calm down,
He's
And
also that is nice. He's like a calm guy because I met
yeah,
him in
he's
person,
like,
of course.
yeah, they all just seem like so, yeah, they're so happy to help.
Yeah, that is also yeah. In the case of Jamie, that is
Yeah.
100%.
So
He likes to
yeah,
help people.
he's messaged me a few times where he's come over to the UK for suspension
Yeah,
training,
training. Yeah,
and he's like, "Oh, so do you want to come and meet in the pub?" And I was like, "Oh, we're like where he's been based in like London." I was like, "Oh, it's like 4 hours from me," and it's
4
like I'd
hours.
love
Yeah,
to, but it's like really difficult. But he's like, yeah,
yeah,
so he reached out.
but yeah, that is the thing. But also think about this. So for him, they go a long flight, and they're like, "Wow, I'm so close."
Yeah,
Relatively, they're
yeah,
so close.
definitely.
And
But
for us, yeah, 4 hours. Come on, 4 hours a half day. Eh?
yeah, yeah, and I think it was always like if it was the weekend, I probably would have kind of done it.
Yeah.
But being during the week and that, it's like you
No,
say, it's getting time off work and things like
that's
that. It's not
impossible.
so easy.
Okay. Hey, for me, it's a wrap. We had a long chat, so
Yeah,
that I
it was
also
cool. I
know that
loved
I
it. It
have
was really good.
too many questions, but that's in itself that is nothing wrong. And
Yeah.
I felt the energy also in the talk. I don't know how that was for you.
Yeah, no, it was good. Yeah, the conversation was flowing, and yeah, there's lots of little stories, and I could talk for hours about old stories and things.
Yeah, but
in the past.
that I think that is also in the podcast. I think that is just it will flow and it will come. But you chatted also to me. Yeah, mine motor and you seemed chatty and
Yeah.
But I think we talk about motocross also at the track very easily with each other, and so doing it. Okay, it's virtual. I know it's a little bit in that respect not in
Yeah.
person, but I don't know how it felt to you, but after let's say 15 minutes, I had the feeling that you were just having a discussion as if I was sitting over there.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Like I say, we've got quite a good thing in common, and everyone's got different stories to say about and different experiences. So and particularly being from different countries, it's nice to see how
Exactly.
it compares.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
Now
why I'm really keen.
That was for me also a little bit the feeling of, okay, there is potential to have a good talk with persons just from the app. Could be at random, but and then everybody hears a little bit background. Why not? It is always interesting to hear that. Everybody has a good story in his life. Some people forget that they think my life is just my life, but everybody's life is a nice life. And everybody is living, let's say, a threat that nobody is living. So therefore, it is always interesting, I would say.
Yeah.
Well, if you have the open mindset, maybe. Yeah. If you use AJ's words. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think what's cool with the app is like a lot of those people you will never meet. However, when you ask a question or got a concern, all of these people will still send you a message and go, "Hey, do this or try this or don't worry about it. It's fine."
Yeah, exactly.
And that's quite a cool thing. There's never any comments that are. I've never seen any comments that are argumentative or people if people don't agree with it. There's not a, social media is so crazy these days where one comment triggers a massive argument.
Yeah.
In that app, you don't see it.
No, at least not negatively. Yeah. That
it's
it could something could trigger that I think is good. Huh? That it triggers something.
It's always like positive criticism, isn't it? And it's like
exactly.
But I enjoy it. Like I say, I like looking through it and seeing all the comments. And like I say, I've been trying to post a few more videos and a few more kind of like. I think I wanted to post more videos of like race reports so people can, like you say, so people can see who you are.
Yeah.
Rather than just text, they can see who you look like, who you sound like, and how you come across and things like that.
So did you look at some of the videos that I post?
Yeah. So I saw. I got to know your YouTube channel through the posts on the app.
Yeah.
And then I think when you did episode, I think the first one I saw was episode 2. I don't think I saw episode 1, but I think on episode,
of the podcast, you mean, or
yeah, on the podcast, on your own podcast.
Yeah. No, I did not start it that it is going to be my podcast. It is more that, and that's why I also say I am hosting this podcast. In my general idea is I think I wanted to create an, let's say, framework.
Yeah.
In which two persons could have a conversation about their background, and so that it could be interesting for everybody. I did not talk about it, so it's good that you asked me this now. So maybe that is then also part of this podcast. In my mind, there could be several people hosting this that know how to do it technically, and I would be willing to share also how I do that with those persons, that they could be the host of a podcast. But the thing is also you really need to make time for these things, and so it does take some effort on my side. And you need to have equipment on one side, but also afterwards I need to do some editing, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
No,
getting
there's a lot
contact
behind
persons.
it.
Yeah.
No,
So,
definitely.
but okay. I want to thank you for being in this podcast, and thank you also for reaching out. It's really nice that you indicated that you wanted to do this, because I think it's really nice that for the other members to get to know a little bit more behind the person, than behind the characters MarkTwoFour. Yeah, simple as that.
Definitely. Yeah, no, it's good. And yeah, it's good to get to know people and like I say, have conversations with people. And it's, any opportunity that I've got to, to do this. And like I say, I'd love to try and jump on some of AJ's live streams, but it's that's so late in the evening. It's it's difficult. But
the time for us is not really a good time, and that is indeed for me also the case.
But I'll try and get on there once, because I think it would be quite good to get onto one of his as well. And
well, the topics are very good and very well organized.
Yes.
This year, I was really pleasantly surprised, I would say, when they started at the beginning of the year. I was like, whoa! And I also wrote a message to AJ. I say, hey, you're leveling up. That's good. It means you really thought about it, what the topic is, what you're going to talk about, etc. Because in the beginning it was like, open and start talking a little bit. And but yeah, indeed, the planning, they put it on a fixed time. So in that respect, I think it's also good that people know when it is. Yeah, only for us, we go to bed.
It's a bit more structured, isn't it? But I know, like, I'm just like getting ready for bed and I see a notification pop up. AJ is live in the community chat, and I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna see. And then you see like people go on, and I think my motor comes on for like 5 minutes, and you go, I'm off to bed now. No, like that. And, so it is really funny, and it is difficult for him to cater for everyone, because he has got people all over, of course, all over. So it's it is difficult, but
makes sense. Okay.
I think
I'm going to end the recording, and maybe we have another talk. What we talked about with a threesome, huh? With my moto, I have no idea how to format that yet, but in itself, that would be, I think, also a nice setup, that we have 3 people in, and then have a discussion. But then I think that's a little bit how I feel. We need to have a pre-meeting and talk about, okay, what are the topics, what we're going to talk about.
For sure.
I'm also not a journalist or something, and I think then if we want to have a talk with three people, also give input.
I think that like say the questions that you set up are perfect, and it starts you talking about things, and then while you're talking about something else, it triggers something else.
It goes further on. Huh? That is always how that works. So it's just a guideline for myself, saying, okay, I have a starting point, and you see, if you look at the time, more than enough.
Yeah, exactly. Like say, there's been like we're chatting constantly about motocross for like 2 and a bit hours. So it can't be that bad, can it?
No, it is good. Okay. If you like the podcast, please give the thumbs up.